Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Hazelicia Tarot. I am your tarot reader, Stephanie. Today's reading is all about Mercury retrograde, any advice you should have for this retrograde and specifically. This is meant to be timeless, so you can watch this during any Mercury retrograde that happens. It tends to happen at least 3 times of the year on average. You could also watch this for any retrograde in any planet, Venus or Mars. I may do a video for those eventually, but for right now, we're focusing on Mercury retrograde. So we have 3 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have the Prism Tarot with the Selenite Moon. Pile 2, we have the Wild Unknown Tarot with the Selenite Heart. And pile 3, we have the Muse Tarot with the Laser Quartz. So take a few deep breaths, open up the heart, open up the mind, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the little Selenite Moon, then we have a reading here for you about Mercury retrograde advice and messages. So this reading is meant to be for any Mercury retrograde, and it came to me literally like the day after. I wish I had filmed it before so I could have it ready for you during this current Mercury retrograde, but whatever. It's going to be timeless, so I'm going to make sure to bump it any time that time happens. It's usually around 3 times a year, so you know, you'll have plenty to look forward to. But if you chose this is the Prism Tarot, then we've got your reading here. We're going to give you advice on what to do, what not to do, specifically tailored to the energy that you are currently embodying or anything that is more personalized to you. Of course, if you do want a more personal reading, you can always contact me. My email is in the description. But we're going to start with some oracles for you to see how the Mercury retrograde landscape is going to be for you this time around. So for my pile 1, let's start with your God card to see what blessing you have from any specific deity here. We have Baime. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. Beauty. I'm being told to pick another one for you because there's something about your particular Vishnu balance. Okay, that makes sense. Very strong Libran energy. There's something about not being able to make up your mind during a Mercury retrograde, specifically if that is in either your 7th house or during a Mercury retrograde. Let me turn on the lights because I can tell that it's getting a little dark on the screen. Much better, pile 1. Okay, so we have Baima and Vishnu, beauty and balance. There's something about taking a more beautiful way of communicating. I know that sounds odd, but the way I'm being told to interpret this is that when it comes to your messages, make them a lot more easy to swallow. If that makes any sense. Make it's definitely sugarcoating, like essentially sugarcoat your messages. Be a little bit nicer than you feel you have to when it comes to the way you communicate. Because for some of you, there is a chance that you may come off a little bit more blunt or a little bit more aggressive than usual during a retrograde. So especially if you have Mercury in a fire sign. I am blanking out so much in this particular reading. I am sorry, pile 1, but that might be another thing that goes on with you. Maybe you just glitch out a little bit more whenever you're communicating. I know I do from time to time, depending on what I'm channeling, which is odd because I don't always do that in person, at least not that I'm aware of. So there's a feeling here that you may get a little frustrated because you know that you're not communicating the way you want to. So when you do communicate, it will come off very aggressive. It's like if you ever see a child who's learning how to talk try to express themselves, but they don't have the words or they don't know how, or maybe their parents just aren't listening. It's that kind of frustration. So then they get mad. And something similar happens here with you, or if not mad, you may get disappointed or you may get discouraged. So make sure your words are something that sounds beautiful, essentially, is what I'm hearing. I know that's odd, but it really does help. Or be a little bit more kind in the way you say the things you want to say, which I know we don't like because it sounds a little fake or a little false, but a little goes a long way. So nothing too out of the ordinary for you. Let's go ahead and get your Sacred Creators Love Oracle. For my pile, I'm being told to get 3 for you. We have the Sacred Flow of Yes, balance. Balance is here again. Maybe some of you have a hard time with balance when it comes to the retrogrades. I'm also hearing to balance your communication. So let's say you're speaking with somebody, doesn't matter who, it could be a friend, a partner, family. Make sure that they are also communicating with you. Make sure that they are being able to speak their part. So don't overpower them. And on the other hand, don't let them take up the entire conversation either. Make sure you are both contributing equally to a conversation. And befriend the word polarize. So maybe some of you are just very, like, you easily polarize people with your words or with what you say or in the way you communicate. So there's something here about balancing the way you actually communicate here, because even though this might be okay during non-retrograde phases or any other time of the year, I feel like during retrogrades it becomes a little bit more amplified and people do not respond well to this. Because with the sacred flow of, yes, I'm hearing frame your communication in such a way that you're able to get them to say yes. And that's usually through putting it in nicer ways and kinder words, maybe just rephrasing your communication to sound a little bit more easy to people. And I'm not saying to do this all the time, maybe just in times of need. It's just during the retrogrades, there's something about like an anger that comes out in you a lot more readily, or your words are a little bit more polarizing or more, they just sound meaner during the retrogrades, if that makes any sense. Back of the deck says changes. So maybe some of you undergo some really transformational changes during retrogrades. This would be especially true if you have Mercury and Pluto conjunct or in some other type of very strong aspect. I'm speaking a lot about astrology here, but I'm assuming most people would know about astrology if they're clicking this. After all, retrograde is an astrological phenomenon. So let's go ahead and get your animal apothecary card for my pile ones. We have breakthrough. So don't be surprised if you come to sudden breakthroughs during retrogrades, especially if you have like very particular like if you have a very particular struggle or problem that you need a solution to. These could be amazing times for breakthroughs because they're forcing you to slow down and really think through a problem or really contemplate whatever it is that you are going through. For example, if you are having problems in relationships, retrogrades can be a blessing because instead of just breaking it off, you know they're going to come back around if you do. Or you really take the time to see what it is that you both want, or you take your disagreements a little bit slower. Like you really take the time to think it through. It's the same thing when you started off, like you really take your time to get to know each other. Let's go ahead and get another card from this one. For my pile one, what should they know for their Mercury retrograde? We have small steps, big accomplishments. This is making me think of slowing down. After all, we have little turtles here. And turtle, it's very much a slow and steady wins the race. Even if you're typically a very quick person, I know I am. I am very fast when I walk, sometimes when I talk, definitely when I drive. Like I like to be a quick person. That is my Venus in Aries and Mars on the ascendant, like not allowing me to slow down. But I'm a Taurus, so naturally slowness does come easily to me. But during retrogrades, you're going to be forced to slow down, whether you like it or not, due to unforeseen circumstances or just everybody wanting to take their time, or just, it'll feel like bad luck for some of you, like you just happen to slow down for whatever reason, or a miscommunication, or whatever it is, the internet goes out or your phone breaks down. You're going to be forced to slow down and really contemplate things. Sometimes I feel like retrogrades do humble us or force us to be human. Like, for example, when the internet goes away, we forget how to live because all our lives, I think, for some of us are online. And for some of us, it's like when the power goes out, what do? Like, you can't even keep your food cold. So it's that kind of situation. It humbles us. It can really humble us. And I don't know, personally, I like and dislike it, but I'm learning how to thrive in chaos lately. Maybe this is something you will do as well. So yeah, small steps. I feel like taking it step by step to whatever it is that you are working on will actually help you in this particular case, pile one. Let's go ahead and get your angel card number. We have 22, which is a master number. I am aligned. You are in possession of incredible creative powers, and it is assured that you can achieve anything you wish. I feel like this will actually help you achieve anything you want to manifest, or it can help you really align. For example, I like to meditate a lot more during retrogrades. So I take my time responding to people, or I may take breaks a lot more often. I definitely go in hermit mode, and maybe this would be encouraged within you as well, pile one. Some of you could be a life path 22, like I said. 22 is also making me think of a mirrored soul or a mirrored person. So it could be that during this time of the year, maybe you have like a particular friend or a partner or a loved one that you really bond with, but only during retrogrades. I know that's odd, but that's only for those of you who need that confirmation. So let's go ahead and get your astrological cards here. I'm gonna laugh if the retrograde card comes out. We have ascendant entrance. Something about the way you come off to people is really important here, because I was getting that with beauty and balance. So maybe some of you go through a little bit of a glow up during retrogrades, or you may just act a little different, especially if you're very Mercury dominated in your chart. And progressions, journey. I do get the feeling that you definitely go through a journey every retrograde. If you journal, which I'm not sure if most of you do, or do something where you record your happenings, I feel like if you were to go back and look at all the patterns in your life, you would notice how much growth actually happens during this time, because you're taking the time to really steep in the energy you are in, if you will, pile one. It's kind of like you sit in it for so long you can't help but learn and grow through it. It's like Mercury retrogrades fertilize you essentially, and you grow a lot stronger, a lot more profoundly. Like there's something about retrogrades for you that really rebalance you and realign you. After all, we have aligned, the two balance cards, polarize and changes. I feel like at least this particular retrograde, if you are watching it, whatever time you're watching it, like I said, this is timeless. I feel like you really do go through a bit of a glow up or something. Like maybe your voice will change, or the way you view things is going to be different. You might have a very strong shift in perspective. Relationships are coming through here just a little bit because of the ascendant. The ascendant is how we come off to people. It says entrance, but it's really the sign that we express, how we express ourselves to the world. But the opposite of the ascendant is the descendant. So it's almost like you will attract the kind of people that are meant to be for you, or that will be good for whatever way that you express yourself, or whatever transformation you go through in this particular time. You may meet important people during the retrogrades, but don't take that to be a bad thing. I just feel like it's a bookmark on certain people. So when it finally goes direct, then things can get they can go forward a lot more smoothly. But I do feel that for a lot of you, you're, at least this particular moment, you are going to go through some strong transformations. Something about the word yes is going to be very important. That could be your mantra. Just express to the universe, yes, I want this. Yes, I want that. I am with the flow of yes. That's what I'm hearing. And even with the polarization, I feel like you will get rid of people that don't really vibe with you or don't agree with what you say. And you're going to be fine with it. It's like not everybody has to like you, and that's okay. But the people who do are going to absolutely support you 100%. I really do like this energy. I feel like it's very transformative, and people don't seem to think that way, because they always think, oh no, retrograde's going to F up everything. Or, you know, I don't know. I don't see it as like a bad thing. I see it as a time of slowing down, and definitely for me, a time of annoyance, but not necessarily a bad thing. Can it be frustrating? Yeah, but it's also teaching us to make sure we go back and be prepared for anything. That's for sure. But if this sounds like you, if this sounds like something you want to keep going on with, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion to see what advice Spirit has to give you for Mercury retrograde. And I want to thank you for clicking on this reading and being here with me. I kind of just came up with this reading literally 15 minutes, or how long has it been? 30 minutes ago. So I really hope this is making sense. I didn't really plan this out. What I did plan out though was what to do and what not to do, and any other miscellaneous advice. We're going to do this in 3 sections. So let's pull some cards for what to do during Mercury retrograde for you specifically, not just the general advice. Though maybe sometimes the advice you will get will go against the general advice that you hear for everybody else, because we're all very different, pile one. So We have Four of Gems, security. Definitely hold on to certain things. Like, it's not a time to let go, if that makes any sense. It's also a good time to be saving up money. I'm hearing not to spend frivolously and not to let go of anything that you're not ready to let go of just yet, because it feels like you might regret it. This could be a job, relationships, it could be anything. Unless it's something that you've been working on for a long time. For example, like house closings when you're ready to let go of a home, or apartments, leases. Those are usually things that are worked out months in advance, so that will not be affected. But everything else, for example, if you want to throw away some clothes, maybe hold on to them for a little bit longer, because you don't know if you have something in there that you might actually want to keep. I've done that before. I've regretted throwing away some of my clothes that suddenly became fashionable again, ironically enough. But let's go ahead and get more cards. We have the Devil, restriction. So definitely no bad habits. It's the easiest time to fall back into a bad habit in Mercury retrograde. But because this is under the what to do, I'm basically taking the restriction word here. It's like, do restrict yourself from overindulging in the things that you know are not good for you, whether this is junk food, whether this is whatever it is. I feel like it's not, go ahead, have your little indulgence, but don't overdo it, because it can be an easy time for relapse of whatever bad habit that you've kicked, pile one. We also have the Fool, take the leap. For you specifically, pile one, it is okay for you to take chances, specifically wild ones, because if they don't end up working out, then you can always backtrack it somehow. This is actually a safe time for you to take, not big commitments or nothing where you risk a lot of things, but do take like a chance on, let's say, applying for a job, or maybe an interview, something that you know you can do over again, but can also be very life-changing. Like, it's a great time to start a particular class that you don't know if you're actually going to be wanting to what's the word, follow through or finish. For you specifically, pile one, I feel like luck favors you during Mercury retrogrades. We also have two of Pentacles, priorities. Yeah, it's a great time to see what you need to prioritize. For example, if you notice that you've been wanting to get back into good habits, it's a great time to make plans to do this. I think the current retrograde we are in has not Mercury. Well, yeah, obviously it has Mercury, but it has Virgo doing something specifically. I think Virgo just went into Venus, and I think it's Mercury in Virgo. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at it, but it's very specific. It's a great time to prioritize what it is that you need. Again, save money. I feel like for a lot of you, make sure you're not overspending. Sorry, pile one, I had to pause because whatever vehicle was in the background was just being very obnoxious. But definitely a time to prioritize things. Save your money. Hold on to certain things, accept the bad habits, and take leaps, but like calculated leaps on things that you typically wouldn't go for. So let's go ahead and see what not to do for you, pile one. We have emotional, Nine of Cups, emotional stability. This is interesting. We have Eight of Swords, self-victimization. Oh, okay. Don't take the love around you for granted is what I'm hearing. And also, it could be easy for you to fall into a downward spiral of negative thinking. So do watch out for that. I feel like this could be a great time for reality checks from outside sources. We have the Queen of Wands, determination. For, like I said, for some of you, the words you say are going to be like, especially if you have a public presence, the words you say are going to be very polarizing. The way you communicate is going to be very polarizing, especially if you're someone who is considered very attractive or conventionally attractive, or if your appearance is just something that is very, like it draws people in. It's like they're drawn in by the pretty face, but they may not always like what you say, or they may not like what they hear. So it's easier for them to come after you because they feel that because you are under more scrutiny, that they will feel the need to say something. So again, be careful how you speak your words. Even though the Queen of Wands is somebody who is very, very much beautiful, amazing, charismatic, and badass, during this time, I'm not saying to dampen your light, never do that, but definitely be careful of how you choose your words. Choose your words wisely, essentially. Choose the way you communicate very wisely. And in some cases, it may not be anything you can help after all. I feel like you have a very magnetic quality here. And we have Ace of Swords, new ideas. When it comes to new ideas, I feel like put them on the back burner. If you have a particular new idea, especially one that could be controversial or out of the ordinary or something that you don't typically do, hold off on that. Like put it in your journal, put it in your whatever it is that you use to make plans, and save it for either when it's stationed direct or give it more time to stew, because whatever this is, it could be potentially very controversial. I feel like some of you, again, you draw in like a polarization. People just don't seem to like either what you are saying or how you say it, because there's something about it's like it's biting whatever it is that you say, and I feel like you're not even aware of this, and I'm not even saying that there's anything wrong with this. Sometimes it's good to be blunt and direct, but at least during this particular retrograde, do be careful with your words. And I'm saying this as somebody who's had to do that. Like, I'll take a chance on saying something very specific, and then it comes back to bite me, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. And I never mean it with any ill will, of course. It's just you might be someone who's very opinionated, pile one. I definitely get that with the Queen of Wands. Wands energy in general is very open and not afraid to be themselves. So I feel like you're very outspoken, especially with this determination card. You're determined to have your point made or to do whatever it is that you do. So again, you are under more scrutiny, or you may, what's the expression? Have foot and mouth syndrome a little bit more often during this time. Let's also get the next cards, which are anything else that you need to know. This is my wild card section, which I like because sometimes I can't think of questions or anything else to come through. We have balance again. What did I say? Pile one, are you okay? I think there's something about balance that you really need to hear about, because this is the third time that we've had this. Is also the card 11, which is another mirroring number kind of energy. So you could be a life path 11. There's something here about your either your friendships or your relationships during Mercury retrograde, especially if you and your person have very strong Mercury placements together, or like a trine or a conjunct, or maybe even your composite. Mercury retrograde will really affect your relationships, because it's kind of like if you don't hear from your friends or person for days, or maybe not days, maybe for like a long, if they're not communicating as much as they typically do, again, there's a balance here. Maybe you're going to have to nudge them a little more, or you might have to back off a little more, depending on where you are here. You might be the one who either doesn't communicate enough or too much, depending on the situation. So yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, this is going to have to do with balance in relationships or friendships, or even with family. It could just be you as well. Maybe you have Mercury in the 7th house, and this will really, again, send your connections all over the place. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, though. I never thought to see it this way, by the way, because I have Mercury in my 1st house, but it doesn't, I don't think it affects me that much. We have the Star. You get a lot of good inspiration during this time, though, but like I said, get that inspiration, jot it down, and save it for later. I really do like this. It's kind of like write it down and then save it for another time when you can come back to it with a different mindset. So whatever inspiration or information you get during this time, save it for later. We have the King of Pentacles, wealth. There's something about money for you during retrogrades. Like, definitely don't spend on silly things, or don't spend too much. Budget more. Budget a lot more, especially if that retrograde is going through either your 2nd house, or if it's impacting your Venus, or if it's in an earth sign. Those 3 specific things. Let's go ahead and get one more card. We have the 7 of Swords, scarcity mentality, but this is also the card of lies and secrets. So I feel like a lot of stuff does come to the surface during Mercury retrogrades. If you're already good at detecting lies, I feel like in this particular case, you'll be even better. There's also the feeling here that a lot of secrets come to the surface. A lot of things that were untrue come to the surface. You will find out a lot during Mercury retrograde. It's part of the reason I love it so much, because if there was anything that I was ever doubting or suspecting, I know during the retrograde, it's gonna bubble up to the surface, and you're gonna have no choice but to deal with it or hear about it. So yeah, I really do love this energy for you, pile 1. Let's get the back of the deck. We have the Apprentice. This is the Knight of Swords, ambition. Look, I feel like that's the perfect Mercury retrograde card, because the Knight of Swords, it's a message with an intent. But here's the thing, you have to be very careful, because Ten of Legacy. I like that. It can shape the way people see you. It could even be like what you become known for, and it could start certain things. Just be careful with how you say it. Definitely work on it. Definitely. This is a great time for planning, scheming, coming up with things, jotting things down, brainstorming essentially. But don't go through with it until much later, once it goes direct or once you know the time is right, depending on which one is more convenient for you, pile one. But yeah, I like this. I do like that you're one of the few people I feel that can actually start something during a retrograde and be fine. Either because you will be saved from it if it's not for you, and if it is meant to be, it will like override this particular astrological phenomenon and work out for you. Just be careful with overdoing whatever it is that you overdo, and be careful with your finances. So also falling into this emotional downward spiral, because even if you're usually an emotionally stable person, I feel like the retrogrades can bring you down a little bit. I'm not sure why. It could, again, if you have like Mercury conjunct a moon especially, you could have a hard time expressing your feelings. And because you have that repression of emotions a little bit more here, then it'll just, like I said, it'll send you in a downward spiral. Or it could send people around you in a downward spiral if you're not communicating with them the way they want you to. But yeah, okay, let's move on to some closing advice for you, pile one, for Mercury retrograde. So we have the Affirmators Deluxe. For my pile one, we have boundaries. I claim my right to set healthy boundaries, and I allow others to do the same. Sometimes personal space is taken, and sometimes it's given. And sometimes, if you're on the subway, it's completely disregarded and shamelessly invaded. I guess it depends on the day. This is back to that balance and the communication within relationships. It's about setting boundaries, what can and can't be said, or how much you say, or again, allowing people to speak, or giving them their chance to remain silent if they want. What is it? The right to remain silent. I feel like there's something about communication between you and the people around you that is going to be very important during the retrogrades. It could also be another exercise in setting boundaries here. Let's go ahead and get one more for my pile one. We have open-heartedness. I know that life and the people living it can be an absolute bummer sometimes, but I promise not to let unhappy chapters make me jaded. If I let negative experiences turn me sour, then the jerk wins. So I'll move on with an open heart. So I'll move on with an open and hopeful heart, if only because I hate losing to jerks. Yeah, I feel like there's a feeling here that the way I was told to take this is just to not let life get you down, or even if people do say something about what you say, like don't let it get you down. Some people just get easily triggered. Some people, I said this in a previous reading, but sometimes what people say are a reflection of themselves, or even what they hear can be a reflection of how they think or what's going on with them. So don't take everything personally when it comes to your way of communicating or what you express here. Remain with your open heart, because this is what makes you, pile one. Let's go ahead and get, I'm using a Divine Feminine Oracle here for a blessing from a goddess or Divine Feminine figure. Okay, these two wanted to come out. We have Ariadne, Mistress of the Labyrinth. My soul knows the way, and the only way is through, and my only way out is through. It's funny that we have Labyrinth, because sometimes a Mercury retrograde can feel like, instead of taking the direct way to somewhere, it can feel like you're having to take all kinds of turns and shortcuts and maybe weird ways to get there. It's like when there's traffic, so you can't take the usual way there. You have to go around, or you have to take a different way. You might have to go out of your way for something here. So this is like the perfect mythological figure. I'm not sure where she's from. I want to say Greek. Yeah, she's the perfect figure for a Mercury retrograde, and I feel like she will guide you through anything that seems tricky, or any kind. When you've lost your way, I feel like she will guide you. So don't feel, if you ever feel lost, this is a good blessing here. your soul knows the way. The only way out is through. Yeah, sometimes the only way out is through. It's like if you're feeling anything, don't be afraid to feel it. That's just you needing to process an emotion. And we also have White Buffalo Calf Woman, the prophetess of the sacred way. My heart is a compass. The path of love is true abundance. Like I said, there's something here about abundance and money. So for some of you, if you save money and if you plan things out, I feel like it can actually grow during this time, or anything. If it's not money, it could be material things. It could be an abundance of anything that you need to live. It could even be time for some of you. If things are slowing down or if some things get canceled, it gives you more time to do you. I love both of these figures actually. But this is where I leave you, pile 1. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose the selenite heart, I almost called it a moon. The selenite heart, then we have a reading here for you for Mercury Retrograde Advice, how to handle this particular Mercury Retrograde, any advice that is going to come through about how to handle Mercury Retrogrades in general. I was intending this to come out during the current Mercury one, the current retrograde, sorry. But yeah, things didn't work out. I mean, it's very on point about this season, isn't it? But we're going to look into the oracles to see what the landscape of how to handle this Mercury retrograde is. You could also apply this to any other retrograde. This is meant to be a timeless reading because we do get these about 3 times a year. And for some people, it will affect others more than, other people. So let's go ahead and get your cards. Already very scattered brained in this one, which is very interesting. So maybe the way you handle retrogrades or the way they affect you is you tend to be a little bit all over the place. Let's start with your Animal Apothecary cards. We have Prayer Answered 12. You could be one of those very lucky people who gets like particular things during retrogrades, because what they do is they bring back offers that you may not have had in the current moment, like during non-retrograde season. You may have applied for something, but then you didn't get it. So when we backtrack into Mercury retrograde, it may come up again and you may get a second chance. It's a great time for second chances for things that are good for you here. In particular, like maybe job roles or maybe a revision of something and it ends up that you ended up getting something better. There's something here that is going to work out in your favor. Let's go ahead and get another one. Buffaloes could be an important animal for you, and this is Taurus energy as well. We have self-worth, self-love, self-value, and self-respect. And look at this little piggy. This is so cute. So you're valuing yourself this time around. It's kind of like you're looking back at your life, you're looking back at how you've been handling things, and you're like, yeah, I need to pour more into myself. For some of you, this could involve a Venus retrograde. Take that only if it resonates. Again, this is a timeless reading, so I don't know what the current landscape, well, I know what the current landscape when I'm filming this is, but I don't know what your particular astrological weather is, if you will. Let's go ahead and get your God card to see what deity is blessing this particular season for you, pile 2. We have Odin Guidance. He is my favorite. I don't think he directly correlates with Mercury and or Hermes or any god of communication, but he is a god of wisdom and magic. So I feel like you gain a lot of very powerful insights during retrogrades. He is one of my favorite deities to work with. He's the first one that came through when I first tapped into my spiritual awakening. He came through very clearly in a meditation one time. I don't think he has his eye patch here, but he came to me with the eye patch. I think he lost the eye. I'm not sure if it was in battle or if it was so that he could gain another sort of vision, that third eye, if you will, because he is a god of, I said magic and wisdom, but I'm not sure if you could consider him like a psychic god. I always have. To me, he's the most spiritual. That's why he's the All-Father. But very, very divinely guided here. I love that. He's my favorite deity. Well, one of them. But honestly, all deities are at the same level. It's my favorite form because I have a special bond with this one. We also have Cernuno, shape-shifting. So really having to be very flexible with whatever it is that you need to do or be. And I feel like you will be guided in how you need to act, what you need to say, and how you need to present yourself. There's something here about changing with the times or needing to be the person you need to be in certain circumstances. And this isn't to mean that you're going to be deceptive. It just means that you need to tap into different versions of yourself for whatever it is that you are about to embark on or whatever it is that you are handling. For example, in pile 1, we were talking a lot about how they communicate, which makes sense. That's a very Mercury thing. It's about communication. But in this one, it's about 1, obtaining the things you've always wanted. 2, respecting yourself, not allowing yourself to be undervalued or be sold short. And 3, needing to be what you need to be while still being very authentic to yourself, because we are multitudes. We really can have several parts to ourselves. And just because we are one part more than the other doesn't make it less true than the other. For example, we're going to be very different around children than we are around our friends. So does that mean that we're being fake? No, it just means we're catering the way we are to our specific audience. And I feel like this is very important here. Let's go ahead and get more cards for my pile 2. We have changes, number 10. We have 10, 11, 12. So something about going in order. But this is backwards because we have 12, 11, 10. So you might be doing things backward, and quite literally retrograde is going backwards. Technically, the planets are not spinning backwards. They're staying stationed. They're staying still. So while everybody else is going forward, it feels like that planet is falling behind, but really it's just taking a rest. Actually, that came up in the first pile as well, because they had the turtle come up in one of their cards, I think these cards. And the turtle doesn't go backwards, but it slows down or it stays still, but it's still going forward. Let's go ahead and get another card. We have Creator Water. Tap into your emotions this particular retrograde, or whatever retrograde you're currently going through is actually affecting your emotions, especially if you have natally Mercury aspecting your moon in some particular way, or Venus aspecting your moon in a particular way if it's a Venus retrograde. I don't know what I'm going to call this reading yet. I was going to say Mercury retrograde messages, but it might just be retrograde messages. I might do a whole different one for Venus in general. Let me know if you would like that in the comments, pile 2. But let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards, specifically the astro cards, because this is talking about astrology and astrological phenomenon. For my pile 2, we have Capricorn, achieve. Number 10 is coming out again. So for some of you, 10 is an important number. I'm also thinking being a 10 out of 10, something about perfectionism here. We have Cancer, immerse, number 4. These are opposite signs. So it's kind of like two very different aspects of yourself are having to meet each other, or you're having to be two completely different people, two different two opposite things that you feel just don't mesh. It could also be that you're being pulled in two very different directions, because I'm being shown the nodes, the North Node and the South Node. The South Node is supposed to resonate with your past life. North Node is supposed to resonate with the person you are meant to be, your future self, or the person you're meant to be in this life. Something about destiny and fate is at hand there. So I feel like a lot of you are kind of contemplating what it is that you need to be. Should you be the stable all-father that is, you know, like a leader, or should you be Sir Nuno, something to everybody, but not necessarily, it's like a jack of all trades, if you will, is what I'm getting from this card. Not sure if that's how this particular deity actually functions, but that's what I'm seeing. It's like, yes, you're willing to change, and yes, you're willing to value yourself, but there's something here about needing to be two very different things, and you don't know if they can compromise here. I'm going to get one more astro card to see if this will clarify anything. And this does have to do with emotions, by the way. Cancer is very much the sign of emotions. And Capricorn, they are emotional. I let me tell you this. I know so many Capricorns and Moon in Capricorns, both of them. And I have it in my outer planets. I have a stellium in my outer planets because my generation had that. They may not come off as emotional, or they may not value their emotions, but they are still very emotional. If you ever meet their family, or if their family knows them, they would tell you this. They care a lot, but the way they care is so different. It's not something that they would show or that they seem to not value, but they themselves are drawn to very emotional people. We have trine, sextile. Yeah, this is trying to make a symbiosis, a harmonious aspect here between two things that don't really seem to align. So some of you could be forcing something here. I'm not sure what that is. It could be parts of yourself. In some cases, it could even be like a relationship to somebody, or maybe a job that you just know doesn't really suit you, but you really want to make it work. Or maybe even friends, like you're trying to reconcile or bring together two friends that are just so different that you know they just can't hang out. Like you love them both dearly, but you can't have them in the same room, so you're just gonna have to see them separately. That's what I'm getting here. For some of you, I'm hearing this is bringing up childhood wounds, particularly when it comes to divorced parents. So take that if it resonates. I myself am not a child of divorce, but that was what I was hearing for some of you. So I might go at length at that at some point in the tarot if it shows itself, but I'm hearing for some of you, this could involve like divorce, whether it's from your parents, someone you know, or maybe even yourself. It's very weird that I was hearing that because I've never really experienced that. But anyway, let's go ahead and get your cards. We have 13. You are a conscientious worker with a knack for coming up with creative ideas and turning them into something real. An optimistic but practical outlook keeps you determined and on track as you work steadily towards your goals. I am confident. Some of you could really decide to focus yourselves onto your work or into creating something, especially creating. This is definitely taking your emotions and allowing them to fuel your creative energy. You take out a lot of what you do into creative fields, regardless of what that is, whether it's creating content or maybe something a little bit more traditional like art or music. Something about creating is very important here. Also, this is following this this number, the whatever it's called, the number cycle 10, 11, 12, 13. So let's go ahead and get one more card from this one. I think I'm pulling a lot of cards for you, pile 2. That's okay. 888, I am abundant. As you focus on all the wonderful things that surround you, you're clearing the path for more positive energy to flow into all areas of your life and creating a place for abundance. So retrogrades are a great time for you to call in abundance. It's a great time for you to call in money. It's a great time for you to call in more of whatever it is that you want, whether that's company, friendship, love, whatever you want an abundance of. It's not always money, but that's like the main, I think that's the easiest analogy, is to assume it's money because it's easy to call in multiples of dollars, for example. But here you're calling in a lot of something else. So really do use the retrogrades as a time to manifest or revise your manifestations, revise the, you know, if you wrote it down somewhere, revise whatever that is. If it's something on a vision board, revise whatever that is. Maybe you want to take down something because you've either already completed it or it no longer resonates with you, and you want to put up something a little bit more true to yourself. And there's something a lot about being very honest with yourself that is going to help you manifest something here with the prayer answered. After all, that was the first card to pop up. So I feel like you're going to get something you really want this particular retrograde, especially, for example, if you let something go in the middle of a retrograde, it'll come back. Because the way I always see this visually, like if the, let's take a thing. Oh, my favorite moonstone. She's so pretty. So let's say this is Mercury. It looks nothing like Mercury, but let's go with it. It's staying here, or maybe we can pretend it's going backwards. You decided to end things here. And so Mercury will continue retrograding. But when it finally goes direct, when it finally starts moving forward again, it's going to come here. And where you left off with that particular thing that you let go, the situation is going to come back. It's going to come back for you to revise it. It's going to come back for you to see if you really did want to let go of it. It's going to come back because you realized it was not the right time to let it go. So if this was a job offer, like I said, you might get it back again because somebody decided to fall through, or maybe they went with the wrong person. If it's, for example, relationships, because that's what people go on at length about here. It could be that you decided to break up during a retrograde, but then the person comes back around and it's like, hey, I don't know if we ended that right. Do you want to try this again? Only for those of you who want that. I don't typically tap into X energy. You know, that's not my thing. But let's say it was a relationship that otherwise went well, or maybe it's something that drifted you apart, but you guys want to still try it. So take that into consideration. I am being told to tap into your third eye, though. Odin, I'm being told, is very much a third eye card here. This is psychic energy. This is the wisdom that comes through if you decide to meditate and do the work on yourself. I'm hearing thought and memory, his two birds on his shoulders. It's like thought and memories come back during this time. So it's really a great time to meditate and contemplate things. Maybe not the best time to do something, maybe not the best time to take action, at least very hesitating action. It's a time to think things through. So if this sounds like you, if this sounds like something you are going through or your kind of situation, I'm being told to pay attention to this again. So Cancer and Capricorn, immerse and achieve, and the trine, it's trying to make two very opposite things work. Like I said, don't force anything. If it's meant to work, it will work. If two things that typically don't mesh well together, they will end up meshing well together at the end of this particular retrograde. So it is very much a waiting game. It is very much a situation where you shouldn't really be starting new things. Don't start anything new. They always say not to sign documents, but if it's been a long process of signing documents, like it's lasted months, that's not going to affect this. If it's signing document within the week that Mercury retrograde is going on, it'll still be fine. It's just make sure you double check everything, because there's like a lot of room for error. The room for error is definitely wider now. And I feel like this is why I was meant to like record this particular reading during the retrograde, because it will literally present itself on camera and in the way I'm saying things, how things can sometimes be a little off or a little weird, even though I typically process retrogrades a little bit earlier than when they actually happen. This happens to intuitive people because we'll already feel it in the air. It's that third eye, like processing the retrograde. So I was having, like, right before this happened, I was already having a lot of traffic troubles, tire troubles, which, you know, anything to do with travel will be affected, communication errors for sure, in particular with certain people. Like, I was already having all of that. So where was I going with that? Yeah, I already know how the landscape is, and maybe for some of you, retrogrades do clear up a lot sooner, especially if you know you are highly intuitive. Take note of how, like, the weeks leading up or even the days leading up to the Mercury retrograde, take note if it's already feeling like it, especially if you're already aware of it. And this does mean that things will resolve sooner as well, because as a very tapped in person into the collective, you're meant to help people through the retrogrades, the ones that are not as intuitive, hence why we process it. This is like one of the first things I learned when I was going through my mentorship in intuition, essentially. And I'm glad I did, because it didn't make sense to me that sometimes astrologically things didn't resonate with me. Sometimes we just process them a lot faster. So we might feel that Cancer moon before it happens. We might be super emotional during the Taurus moon, etc. And sometimes it is like the planets affecting our personal charts, but sometimes it's also us feeling the astrological weather or the energetic weather before it actually happens. That's another way the third eye operates here. But let's go ahead and get your cards, your tarot cards. We're going to do this in 3 sections. First section is going to be what to do, like things that you should go ahead and do. Second one is going to be what not to do. And the third one is going to be any wild cards that want to come out, because sometimes I can't really form proper questions to certain readings. So I like wild cards. They just come up with anything that you need to hear about this particular reading. So pile 2. We have 8 of Pentacles. Definitely focus on what you are gaining out of your work. Make sure that all the work you are putting into something is bringing you exactly what you need. Again, revise that manifestation thing that you do. Or if it's actual work, make sure that all the work you are putting into something is actually going to end up being useful. For example, I'll use my own example because this happened literally last week. I work in a bakery, so I was going ahead and making a particular product because I was like, we're going to keep doing this, right? I double checked everything. I literally did. And then literally a day or 2 later, they're like, oh, we're stopping production on that. We're doing something else. And I was like, really? So I wasted my whole day, well, not whole day, but like a good chunk of my day doing this particular thing that we weren't even going to be selling anymore. It wasn't a big deal. It was something we could still sell through, but it was like I could have literally spent that time on anything else. So it's that kind of situation. Make sure that all the effort you are putting into something is paying off, or that it's worth it. Let's go ahead. Tower moment. Be prepared for anything. I mean, be prepared for anything. If you don't have like For example, a fire extinguisher in your house, make sure and go ahead and get one. If you, I'm hearing something about paying bills because it's right next to the Pentacles card. Make sure you've paid all your bills. Even if it's on automatic, double check it because you never know how some companies can just decide, oh, it's not going to work this time around, this particular month. Double check everything. Be prepared for anything. And if anything unexpected happens, don't freak out. It's kind of like a retrograde does love to throw unexpected things your way, but it's kind of like wait it out to see why it was unexpected. There's going to be a reason and it will feel less out of your control once you find out the reason. So let's go ahead and get more cards. For my pile, I keep hearing thank you, Odin. I'm wondering if some of you also work with Norse gods in general. They're not, like, it's weird. Norse mythology is not my favorite, but they are some of them are the most prominent that come to me for some reason. Loki's another one, but I'm also a Tom Hiddleston fan. All right, your last two cards, we have Judgment and Seven of Swords. So during the retrograde, I feel like some of you are really gifted with being able to see through deception, with being able to see through BS, with being able to see through what people are trying to hide. I feel like a lot of you may get this supernatural gift during the retrogrades and you're able to make better decisions off of that. It's not to say that you're going to confront them about it because a lot of them will not be honest, but you are going to take the actions necessary to put that particular situation into place. So let's say, for example, somebody's not telling you that they've been doing something, but they keep thinking they can get away with it. It's like, I'm not even going to confront them. I'm just going to go ahead and do the thing I need to do, which is either let them go. I keep seeing work situations. So let's say if you are somebody that is in a leadership role and you can, for example, write them up for something, you're not even going to confront them about doing something. It's like, oh, they're over there taking their extended breaks when they should only be taking the one break, and they didn't ask me if they could take it a little bit longer. And this has been the 5th time this week that they've done it. Let me just go ahead and write them up. It's like you don't have patience for things like this anymore. It's like people should be very blunt and honest with you. It's like if they think they can keep getting away with something, you're going to show them that they can't, but you're not going to be confrontational about it. Another way of seeing this is, let's say you have a friend who keeps talking behind your back, and rather than confronting them about why they're doing that, because I feel like it's not going to be the first time, because this is something that's happening multiple times with the Eight of Pentacles here. This is an ongoing thing. It's like you're just going to cut them off. You're just going to stop involving them in anything. You're just going to stop talking to them. It's like, no, I'm not going to. Even if they come and ask, it's like, why are you doing this? It's like, I think you know. I think you know why. Stop being like that, because I'm tired of it. Same thing with a partner. They keep doing something you don't want. It's like, you know, you just go ahead and do something here. This is actually going to benefit you during retrogrades, because it's not a matter of having to talk it out. Talking things out during retrogrades can sometimes prolong something that needs to be done. So here it's like you're being blessed with the ability to make decisions and have them not affect you negatively if it's something that's been going on for a long time. Let's go ahead and get what not to do here. Some of you could be dealing with deceptions in the workplace. It's kind of like, oh, another way I'm seeing this is if you see your boss keeps doing shady stuff, you're just going to go ahead and tell on your boss to whoever their superior is. It's like, let me not even confront them because they keep doing this. Let me go up above and see and ask their boss. It's like, is this acceptable, what they are doing? I feel like a lot of you are really taking control here, because Judgment is a Pluto card and Tower is a Uranus card. And both to me are about taking control. So what not to do? The Moon. Well, I did confuse the heart with the Moon here. So what not to do, pile 2, is allow your emotions to take control here. Even though you're a very emotional person, I feel like the retrogrades are not very conducive to how you perceive things or how you are viewing things emotionally. It's very much a take a step back and ask yourself if you are seeing things clearly. Let's go ahead and get more cards for this. So we have the Ace of Cups. Definitely don't start relationships, at least for this particular retrograde. For this particular one, I'm not sure how long it's going to last or what's going on. Don't start anything new within a relationship that you want to last, or don't start a relationship that you hope to see last, because there's something here about people deceiving you. It's like people saying whatever they want to get you back, or not back, but to get you yeah, people saying whatever they need to say in order to get you on their side, or to get, oh yeah, if it's an ex, definitely don't take them back during the retrograde. They're going to want to get you back. Wait it out, give it time. They should be able to give you time if you both want this. We have justice. I'm not taking reversals, but we also have justice. Don't go out seeking, don't try to get revenge. Karma will work in its own ways. Karma will work out in its own ways. Justice will be done in its own ways, but don't go out of your way to get this. Don't go out of your way to make it happen. It's kind of like it's out of your control. And sometimes you may not even be seeing the whole picture. So what you feel was something that was done wrong to you could actually be a situation of like somebody was just in an odd situation and maybe they'll confront you about it later. So there's something here about don't force karma. Karma will work when it's ready to work for the people around you. For a lot of you, this is about a particular person or a friendship or even a relationship for some of you. But yeah, don't start any new friendships. Don't start any new relationships, at least for this particular time, or at least for you, pile 2. We also have the Daughter of Pentacles. This is the Page of Pentacles. This is promises. Don't make any promises. Any promises made during the retrograde are false. That's all I'm hearing. It's so blunt. It's so direct. So don't buy the illusion of somebody promising you something within a relationship. It's like, oh, we didn't work out, but I promise I'm going to be better this time. Yeah, just don't. Pile 2. Just don't. And if you feel it's somebody who's wronged you, again, let karma, let justice come to them. It's out of your control. Just trust and know that divine guidance is on your side and that you will be, what's the word? Vindicated? You will be like, you'll see this. Like, it'll happen. You may hear about it later. You may not even care when it happens, but it's like, don't worry about seeking revenge. Like, that's not a dish you're supposed to serve at all. That's for the universe to serve, because trust me, I feel like the universe is better at serving revenge than we as people, as little humans are sometimes. Because some of the things that have happened to people that have wronged me, I wouldn't wish on anybody. But then I look at the universe and I'm like, I see. Because it's also a culmination of all the other bad karma sometimes coming into one, coming after them. Because I feel like somebody here has been wronged, or maybe like somebody's ex is trying to come back or something, or a friend that did somebody wrong is like trying to be friends again. But it's like, just don't believe the promises. Don't even pick up the promises that they had from a long time ago. Like, those are, even if you see them trying to work toward it, there's something here about you buying an illusion because you want to have faith in this person. But the thing is, they barely have faith in themselves. The number 8 can be important because we have 3 8 cards. We have the 8 of Pentacles, you have the Moon, which is 18, and Justice, which is also 8. Let's go ahead and get the wild cards though. For my pile 2. Whatever the situation is with this person, I can feel you guys getting worked up. So no on all of that. Hold off on that until things go direct. We have the Son of Wands. We have the Two of Swords. The Son of Wands is the Knight of Wands. This is somebody coming in fast with a communicate. Well, let me clarify this. Yeah, with the communication. With the Nine of Swords. It came out reversed, but I'm being told not to take it reversed because it's kind of like back of the deck. Accountability. So if we're dealing with people, especially those who want to come in very hastily and want to tell you something, this could be gossip. I'm hearing this very much as gossip about somebody or something that you haven't heard from in a while. I'm being told not to take it to heart. If it's a third party trying to tell you about some other situation that involved you and either a job or an opportunity or somebody else, if they're not involved directly, don't listen to them, because something about this retrograde is really stirring up people who like to gossip for some reason for you. Because the Nine of Swords is like, maybe they've noticed that you're really worrying about something, so they're trying to tell you something, either to make you feel better or to make you feel worse, depending on the situation. It depends on who the person is, and I think you will know. The thing is like, just don't listen to them. The Two of Swords can be a miscommunication, but it can also be you deciding not to hear anything unless it's from source, or the source of where it's supposed to come from. Of course, source as well, if you are very intuitively connected and guided, which I feel like a lot of you are. Trust your gut feeling here. But there's like people out here really trying to cause chaos and mayhem. And maybe it's even out of a good place. Maybe they're just trying to tell you something to make you feel good. The thing is, just don't. I feel like a lot of people are trying to claw at your energy in this particular retrograde pile 2, and there is a little bit of, well, one, you're already divinely guided and protected. We did get Odin in the oracle, so, and I very strongly believe in that energy because I felt it before. It's very powerful. But there's something about this retrograde that's a little bit unstable. I'm not sure why or what's going on or what the people are drinking, if you will, since we have the Ace of Cups. It does surround something that is near and dear to your heart. So if it's a job, it's a job that really meant a lot to you. If it's a person, it's somebody that you cared for deeply, or at one point you had a romantic relationship with. There's something here about deceptions coming to the surface. Like I said, they will bubble up to the surface, but you will not deal with the people trying to make the problems. You're just going to go ahead and be like, let me just deal with this directly. Let me put an end to this, essentially. And let me I'm hearing let God and let live, or let live and let God, or whatever the situation is. Put it in the hands of the universe. Put it in the hands of the higher powers here, because they will take care of it. This is not for you to stress about. This is not for you to worry about. The only thing you should worry about is protecting yourself and making sure that the effort you are putting into something is bringing about the results you want. But there's going to have to be a lot of ignoring people, a lot of taking everything with a grain of salt, taking everything, or is it a grain of sand? Whichever it is. Salt is very protective. Maybe you might want to have salt around you, pile 2. And not allowing the fears to get to you. It's kind of like people are trying to feed certain things into your head or certain situations. And the thing is, it's their own BS, and they want to feed it to you to make you feel bad with the 9 of Swords here. And here's why the 7 of Wands is important, because it's accountability. You take accountability for how you handle this, because you're an evolved person, because you've already been through this, because this is not your first rodeo dealing with people who want to really shake you up. Underneath that, we have the Queen of Wands. You are so much more in control, and this is actually envy. People find it very easy to be jealous of the Queen of Wands because she's so in the spotlight, she's so charismatic, she's very loving, and she's also very beautiful and attractive, or at the very least she stands out. So she's an easy target because she stands out. So it could be the case that you're just looking really amazing, or you're having a great time, and people just want to come after you because it's like how they're like, oh, how dare pile 2 have a great time. You're entitled to your great time. Yeah, 4 of Wands, you're entitled to be amazing and good and have the best time of your life because you worked really hard for it. Or sorry, this is the 6. I always confuse this with the 7 of Pentacles, but this is the 6 of Pentacles because you deserve it. This is your own karma. You know you've done well. You know that you've worked hard, so you deserve good things. You're not going to allow anybody else to come and shake you up, essentially. So really do protect yourself, protect your energy, call in more guidance. Maybe work with salt, since I did say salt earlier, pile 2. But this particular retrograde could be a little bit of a doozy for you, but it's nothing you can't handle. Definitely don't start relationships, don't start friendships, don't listen to anybody. You could benefit a lot from isolation, actually. If you can. I feel like some of you can't, because the Queen of Wands is somebody who's very in the public eye, and maybe you are as well. But there's definitely a feeling here that you may have to isolate, or may have to just block off everybody in person, maybe not so much maybe on social media as well. But yeah, this retrograde is something else. Let's go ahead and go to your advice cards though, because quite honestly, you might get a little exhausted this particular retrograde. Do take the time to rest. Maybe take some extra days off if you can, or just really close yourself off from the things that have been trying to cause drama or stir up situations here. Do not listen to anything from a third party regarding you and a person, or you and a situation, or you and a work situation. This is all about you and directly dealing with the situation at hand. Because whatever people have to say, it's just not going to come from a good place right now. At least until Mercury gets a little bit more direct. We have Miaoshan, the Princess of Mercy. Giving is receiving. The energy of the universe is merciful. I do see you having a lot of mercy for people. I do see you being very forgiving. It's kind of like, I'm above this. You're very above this, pile 2. You are above this, so you're going to grant mercy. It's like, whatever. They're acting like children, so let me treat them like children and be a little forgiving, because they've got issues that they never resolved, or they are jealous, and I don't know what to do about that. It's like if you make people jealous, that's their problem. It's not yours. Let's go ahead and get a second card. I may totally get a second card from the Goddess Oracle for you. Or the Divine Feminine Oracle. These are not all goddesses. We have Perpetua, the Saint of Authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. Like I said earlier, you might be showing different sides of yourself, but you are still very much yourself. And maybe some people have a problem with this. Maybe some people don't like seeing, quote, quote, a different version of you. And it's like, well, that's not your problem. That's not Pile 2's problem. This is the problem of whoever's jealous of that. So maybe you're really good at being able to be different things in different situations, or code switching, or whatever the situation is. You're just really good at adapting, and somebody here doesn't like that, or people might want to call you out as being fake, and it's like, no, I just know how to act in the right situations, how to act right in the right situations. You're not going to be the same thing to all people all the time. Like that's just impossible. I feel like people who are well, I don't want to talk down on it, but it's like, if some people, it's kind of like, and this is where that opposition from the oracles is coming through. There's people who want to be the same all the time because they consider that being very authentic. And yes, it is treating everybody the same, but that only works on some level. Then we have the other level where you have to be different things to different people. This is, again, like dealing with children. Like, yes, you're still going to be very honest with children, but you're going to frame the way you say things to children differently than how you say things to your friends or to your parents, if that makes any sense. It's like you have to marry these two ideas, because some people may not be able to understand that those two can be the same. You can be different, but still true to yourself. And I think it's going to rub some people the wrong way, or they're going to think that you were lying to them or whatever. Yeah, something along those lines. So it's going to trigger somebody, because I feel like somebody here is either used to being really fake, or they just refuse to be different for the sake of their own authenticity. But, and I'm not even talking about authenticity like the good kind. It's like, well, because the energy I'm picking up from this opposite, from the people who are hating on you, it's like, well, I'm not going to change because I'm not fake. It's like, no, it's not about being fake. It's about adjusting your authenticity to the situation at hand here. If that makes any sense, Pile 2. That particular theme keeps coming through. And if it does involve, like, for example, a person, like a loved one or a friend or a partner, again, you're going to be different with them than you are with most people. So when people call you out on being fake with them, it's like, well, no, this is me and my partner, and we're very much away with each other, but it's definitely a part of ourselves. Because here's the thing, people will see different sides of people. Just like, for example, in a romantic relationship, you will see a very different side of that person than everybody else, because they are being vulnerable and romantic with you. So the person you see there, it's not them being fake when they're not being that. It's just that you only get to see that person. Take that if it resonates. I feel like I've gone on at length about that. Let's go ahead and get your affirmators cards. Pile 2. I'm just going to get one, because I feel like I've spoken at length about something here. We have no need to do. I am exactly where I need to be, exactly when I need to be. There's nothing more I need to do. I mean, yes, there will always be laundry and taxes, but in terms of my life's path, I don't need to do anything because I am already here. I take a deep breath, relax, and trust, and then do laundry. And what did I say about being pulled in opposite directions? Because even these little pulls up here, it says do this and do that. There's something about stillness. For you, stillness is going to be very important in retrograde season. And that might be a little difficult for those of you who don't like to sit still, which, same, sometimes I don't like to sit still. But then you have to tap into that energy, that watery energy of going with the flow, or being, like, it's like you're floating. Yes, you're moving, but you're actually more floating. So you're being gently guided in certain directions and being allowed to just feel, comprehend, and be in your internal self for a moment. This is giving me such strong hermit energy. I'm kind of surprised that card didn't come out at all in this reading. But this is where I leave you, my beautiful Pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, Pile 3. If you chose this laser quartz, then we have a reading here for you about Mercury retrograde. Any advice that wants to come through for either the retrogrades in general, or for this particular one that you are about to go through or going through. This is meant to be a timeless reading so that you can bring it up anytime a retrograde hits, specifically Mercury retrograde, but you can also use it for Venus or Mars or any of the other planets that go through a retrograde phase. So we're going to start with the oracles to see exactly what the landscape of what you are going through is. during this particular retrograde. And then we're going to go into not the oracles, into the tarot to see how to handle it, your do's and don'ts, and anything else that wants to come through. So let's start with the Animal Apothecary Tarot. We've got Quantum Jump 36. For a lot of you, this is actually a great time to do time leaps or quantum leaps into realities that you prefer to do. I typically don't work with that, but I'm hearing that very strongly with this card. It's also a great time to advance things on a very energetic or meditative level. So not physically, not actually doing this. This is going to be on a very subconscious level. This is getting your mindset to where it needs to be to go to where you want to be once the planet stations direct, once Mercury goes direct. We also have Claim Your Power. Oh, I love this card so much. This is Tiger energy. You could be Year of the Tiger, take that if it resonates, but mostly it's you reclaiming your power. This is you being set on the bench so that you can wait to restore and revive something, and then when you get back out on the field, you come back stronger than ever. This is you taking time away from everything so that once things go direct, once things are ready to move forward again, you're able to come back stronger than ever. This would be the person, let's say you're out in the dating field right now, since we're talking about fields. It's like you're going to take a particular break from dating, and you're going to really focus on you. You're going to focus on your health, your physical body, on your beauty, on whatever it is that you need to do, as well as any psychological things that you feel have been impacting your relationships or the way you view relationships. And then once Mercury goes direct, I keep wanting to say the planet. For this particular pile, you might be dealing with Venus retrograde as well. Currently, when I'm recording this, we're not going through a Venus retrograde, just a Mercury retrograde. But it's like you're going to really just glow up and then get out there, and then things will be so much better for you. This is probably the healthiest way to handle any retrograde, if you can, is to just take a break, take a moment, take more time to make decisions, take more time to think on things, and then get back out there. Because you're going to really focus on you, focus on your internal, on your external self, and as well as your energy. I feel like a lot of you are very adept at handling energies. You might do energy work. You might just be really good at reading energies. You might be natural manifestors. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. We have Osiris Renewal. Yeah, you're coming back better than ever. You are putting all your pieces together and coming back. You're essentially reviving. This is... I keep seeing a video game where like you keep finding the cheat sheet to find all those extra lives kind of things. This is on a platformer where you have only so many lives. But yeah, you're finding the parts of yourself that you need. You're reclaiming your power. You're reclaiming yourself, and you're renewing yourself so you can get back out there. This could be with the help of some people, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, since we have Isis here as well. And these deities could be important to you as well. And Sir Nuno's shapeshifting. This came out in pile 2, but I'm being told to read it very differently here. This is you becoming what you need to be. This is you shifting into the energy that you want, shifting into the reality that you want, shifting into the person you need to be to get the things you need to achieve. I truly love this energy. This is definitely a go-getter. And even if you don't feel like this right now, I'm being told during retrogrades, you have a particular ability to do this. It's like, take the time off, take the time to yourself, maybe withdraw from your friends, from people, from certain situations or habits that you know are either holding you back or that you just don't need at the moment, and then focus on you. The more you focus on you, once Mercury goes direct, it's going to be amazing for you. So look at the dates, see when Mercury stops being in retrograde, and then set forward, and then take your plan, your your course of action. I am sorry, pile 3, but I am literally seeing so much white light while my eyes are open, and not because of the window. Like, it's a particularly overcast day. Back of the deck, Odin. These two came out in pile 2. Maybe you're coming here from pile 2. But there is so much light and so much energy coming in here. I feel like you're really learning how to work with the mechanisms that work with an energy to move yourself forward. If you felt very stagnant or that things have been holding you back, you're no longer doing this. During this retrograde, you really are doing some sort of magic here. And if it's not magic, it's like energy work. It's something to get you in a mindset. I don't know what kind of meditations you've been doing or what kind of mind methods you are working on, but they seem to be really paying off. This is the perfect time to do some sort of retreat where you focus on yourself, on your mental health, your physical health, on all of the above if you can. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be an amazing time for you. Let's go ahead and get more cards because I am loving this energy. You're not going to be recognizable once Mercury goes direct. You might start getting the attention of people who have been ignoring you or people who have overlooked you. There's definitely offers that are going to pop up as a result of this as well. Your intuition is going to be just top notch. We have trine, symbiosis. A lot of repeating cards from pile 2. I'm wondering if you're just here because yeah, see, we have Capricorn. But we also have Vestia, hearth. And the way I'm being told to take hearth here is you are really working on your heart. I'm being told to take it as heart. Because if you were to see the hearth, the fire, as what keeps the household going, what keeps people warm, what allows us to have light, create things, etc., it's very essential in alchemy. And maybe some of you are working with that kind of energy. It's also considered the heart. So a lot of you are doing heart chakra clearings, which is self-love, which is self-worth, which is the way you deal with people on a very loving kind of energy. Think of agape, the love for humankind, the love for all, the love of the universe coming in through you. I feel like you're combining both the person you want to become as well as the love you feel of nature, of the world, of the universe, of the divine coming through here. I feel like a lot of you are doing just something amazing right now. For you, Mercury retrograde, you essentially make it your bitch. You're like, yeah, everybody else is going through all this bullcrap with miscommunication and whatever. Me, I'm taking the time to do me. Because if I don't communicate with anybody, then I can't have miscommunications, essentially. That said, do keep track on your emails, your spam, your messages, etc. Just like everybody else, I feel like, not because of you, but because of everyone else, like it will affect you to some extent. But the thing is, you're not worried and concerned about that. You understand because you've probably been aware of retrogrades your whole life if you're an astrologer or have been into astrology for years. You know how this goes. You know how this works. You're like, okay, let me start taking advantage of these retrogrades while everybody else is here freaking out. I'm going to work on me and do the things I know I need to do, which is focus on the self, focus on my growth, on my betterment, and focus on how I can be like 10 times the person I used to be before this happened. I don't know what just happened to you, pile 3. I feel like some of you are kind of doing a revenge makeover because I'm getting the energy of like somebody who got rejected by a crush or something, and then they go hit the gym and they come out with like just a ripped body, just absolutely jacked, or just looking like the best you've ever looked, performing the best you've ever performed. There's a lot about the physical body in this particular pile, because I feel like for you, mind, body, and soul really are the same thing, or you're learning to conjoin them all together to be one specific entity that goes forward, and that's you. Let's go ahead and get your cards. With Capricorn, nothing's stopping you. This is ambition. It's achievement, ambition. Nothing is stopping you here. And if it's during the time of Capricorn, just take that as confirmation. We have get back to elemental. Yeah, you're getting back to basics. You're getting back to focusing on what you need to focus on. You're getting back to taking care of you. This is like, you know, working out, eating healthy, getting mental clarity, doing the meditations, even cleaning your space if you have a space, really focusing on work, maybe putting in extra hours if you can, if that's the way you self-heal. We have light and the unexpected. This is supposed to resonate with the Tower card in the tarot. So there's something unexpected that will happen. Like I said, you are not immune to Mercury's retrogrades, little mishaps and whatever, but you can handle them better than most people because you are not faced by this. It's like, I expected this. I have backups. I expected this. I'm going to do this again. I expected this. I learned patience a long time ago and it's not going to phase me. So like I said, you're making Mercury retrograde your bitch here. So what's underneath Odin? Yeah, Garuda, travel. Moving forward essentially as well. Even if you're traveling, it's not going to affect you. You brought backups. You brought whatever it is that you needed. And also lightning makes me think of Thor is Odin's son. So it's quite literally like you have control over this. Because why am I hearing who's your daddy? You are making Mercury retrograde know who's the boss here. So it's like, yeah, the tower moment was caused by lightning, but I'm Odin and Thor's my sons. And I know that, you know, I know how to handle that. It's like whatever you are evolving on a massive, massive, massive level, pile 3. Very masculine energy coming through here, by the way. But it's in a good way, because this is you taking control of things. This is you taking control of your life. This is you stepping into the power you've always wanted to feel. I truly, truly love this energy for you, pile 3. Let's see what else is going on here with your angel number messages for my pile 3. 5. Flexibility is your forte. When life throws a curveball, you can easily adapt to new circumstances and find excitement in the unexpected change. Be brave and bold in your endeavors. I am adaptable. Some of you could be Lifepath 5, but what I'm hearing is, like, again, you're not going to be phased by anything unexpected because you're going to be prepared for everything. This would be like somebody really training their reflexes to be able to catch anything. I feel like this is you, pile 3. This is some pretty badass, amazing energy, not gonna lie. I love this. I love this. People are going to wonder how you do it or how you go about doing the things you do. Another example coming to mind is if you've had any kind of health issues, or maybe you went to the doctor and they told you, hey, you really need to take care of your XYZ. You are really focusing on that and reversing that if you can. So let's say you need to get your cholesterol down. You succeed in that because you're focusing on that. Let's say they tell you need to lose a few pounds or whatever to keep your healthy weight. You do that and maybe even more, or maybe even you gain muscle. There is such a glow up here. There's an empowerment, there's an enhancement. You are evolving. Whatever is going on, pile 3, you're not phased by Mercury retrograde. You are going on with whatever you need to do. You understand that it is a time for you to retreat and revise and work on yourself. And this is really a life hack. I feel like a lot of people don't seem to understand it. Like I said, you look around at everybody and they're just freaking out and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, all of this is because of Mercury retrograde. And not saying you won't blame it every now and then, but it's like, yeah, but if you know how to work with it, it can work in your favor. This would be the person who knows how to find the good in setbacks. You know how to find the lessons in setbacks. You understand that when you fail, it's not really failure. It's a lesson and it teaches you to be better. You allow everything around you to empower you. Very optimistic, very beautiful energy as well, especially with the tiger here. Anytime I get tigers in a reading, it's not just going to be an ordinary reading. Nothing phases you and nothing can make you back down. You might take a step back and work on you, but it's not forcing you to back down. This is just your moment to heal. This is just your moment to recharge before you're able to get back out there. Pile 3. I love this energy for you. I absolutely adore it. I know you will be able to handle anything. And I know that you're going to put yourself back together and get back out there. And people are going to wonder how you did it. How you did it. You are life hacking. You are understanding that you can work with anything to make it right. You can work with anything to get something better out of it. You are allowing disadvantages to become your advantages here. And nothing can phase you. Nothing can stop you. That said, you might have some help from people close to you. This could be a friend. This could be a lover. This could be a mentor. You're not gonna just take all the credit to yourself. I feel like you're humble enough to understand that because you did this, or that you did this because of a result of having help from somebody. I hope I said that right. Like, you understand that somebody else here allowed you to help you. This is like, for example, if you have a friend who is, I don't know why I'm being shown this. Maybe because I've been this person to people before. If you have a friend who is psychic and you really, really avoid something disastrous and you see everybody else like being caught up in that thing, you're gonna really credit the person who told you about this when nobody else saw it. Maybe it was through like a psychic mentor, if you have one of those. It could be through a tarot reading. It's, for example, I feel like some of you can really take those to heart and they help you out. So it's like you're not taking all the credit. You understand that it's a combination of, well, one, your higher self, your willingness to do this, the universe around you, whatever your higher powers are, and the people who have been there on your path to succeed. I feel like this is a person who is humble enough to understand that not everything is them, that they have everything else around them to thank as well. There's some sort of gratitude here that is very understated but very strong. So let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion, because I feel like you don't need this reading. This is just confirmation that you are capable of doing anything. And maybe you're going through a little bit of a setback right now, but you are doing just fine. You are doing just fine, pile 3. Like, you will be fine. Maybe this is just a reminder of who you are, of who you need to be, because this is very much within you. Even if you don't feel like you're this person right now, pile 3, I promise you, you will learn to adapt to setbacks and situations that typically don't benefit anybody else. Like I said, this retrograde, you're teaching it who's boss. You're letting it know who's who, or who you are, essentially. I'm hearing, and I think this is from Bob's Burgers, when Linda tells Tina, she's like, are you ready for school? And Tina's like, school better be ready for me. I love that. I love that. This is you. It's like, are you ready for Mercury retrograde? Mercury retrograde better be ready for me. That's you, pile 3. That is you. So we're doing the tarot section in do's and don'ts, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and anything else, the wild card section. So what you should do. We have the Magician, manifest, take back your power, understand that you are capable of anything. Another thing you should do is the 6 of Swords. Definitely retreat, go away if you need to. For those of you who can plan like a vacation during the retrograde, go ahead and do that. It gives you an amazing time off where you don't really have to focus on too much. And if you travel, make sure it's somewhere where it's not too far away or where it's not complicated travel. I'm hearing by land if you can. I'm hearing depending on the element of the planet that is in, of the sign that is in Mercury retrograde. For example, if it's like a Earth Mercury retrograde by land, if it's in an air sign by air, if it's fire, I'm hearing road trip, like something where you control the vehicle, and if it's water by water, of course. That's very specific. Take that only if it resonates. I've never heard it be said that way. All right, let's get more cards for you, pile 3. We have the Page of Emotions. You allowing yourself to feel the things you don't typically feel. And I don't think it has to be a huge emotional revelation. I just feel like this is you understanding that you feel a certain way and getting to the root of it. It's like, okay, why are these feelings popping up? Why are these insecurities popping up? Do I really feel this way? Or am I just being allowed to be guided by the energies around me? This is also for you specifically, pile 3, and this isn't for everybody. You actually have better luck finding people during Mercury retrogrades. I feel like you will create certain connections, especially missed connections, like maybe somebody that you had, like things didn't get off the ground, but they come back around. This would be a great time for you to reconnect with certain people that you know are good for you. Not specifically romantic. This is going to be more friends. And Queen of Wands, I'm not surprised. This is you being in control, being in charge, being very charismatic. For a lot of people, I feel like they like you a little bit more during the Mercury retrogrades because, like I said, you're able to handle everything better, but your energy is just so much more vibrant and better than everybody else's. It's like you're not allowing yourself to be phased by the energy that is going on right now. I absolutely adore this for you, pile 3. It's kind of like, let's say it's raining, but for whatever reason, you're the only person standing in a particular area of land that has no clouds, so the rain is not falling on you. That's what I'm seeing. I have literally seen this. I have seen this. I have been in that little spot in the middle of the rain where it's not raining on me for some reason. Very interesting. It was the day somebody told me I was a healer. Straight to my face. I'd never had anybody tell me that. Which is very interesting because we were outside. We were sitting at like a picnic table and it was raining. And she told me, I think you're a healer. And literally like little patches of non-cloudy areas were like on us and we were not getting wet. And I looked up and I was like, that is crazy. I don't know. For some of you, this is how it's going to be. All right, what not to do? What not to do? I'm loving the burst of energy in this pile as well, pile 3. For my pile 3, we have the 2 of Pentacles. Sorry, the 7 of Pentacles. I'm hearing, don't put in more work than you have to. Really take a step back. Don't put in more effort than you have to. This is a time to let things sort themselves out. Like I said, if you can take a vacation or a break, this would be the great time to do this. We also have the Hierophant. Karmic lessons. I feel like I need to censor this. It's a little bit of side boob. Where are my crystals? Okay. Okay. Karmic lessons. Right now, karmic lessons are not affecting you. So that's a weird way to put it. Let's get the last 2 cards. What I'm hearing is don't worry about structure right now. Go with the flow. That's what I'm hearing. Because the Hierophant can also resonate with Taurus. And usually it's karmic lessons. Usually it's lessons passed down. And even, yes, you are learning something here. You're learning how to work with good things. It's like, don't take the lessons from people who don't know what they're talking about or who are not you or who don't really understand you. We have the 4 of Pentacles, let go of things. Don't hold on to anything. Let it go. Let it go. If it's meant for you, it'll come back. And I feel like some of you understand this. Like, I had to do this not too long ago. I let go of a particular situation, knowing full well that it was going to come back around to me. Like, I felt it in my gut and my intuition. I was like, I have to let this go during this retrograde, because I know if I let anything go during a retrograde, if it's going to come back to me somehow. Essentially, it's a boomerang. That's probably why I chose this little moon that kind of resembles a boomerang. And the Knight of Inspiration. Take no action. Don't take things hastily. Don't rush anything. Take no action. Honestly, I love that a lot of the cards in this don't do pile are telling you to not work. Don't listen to what anyone has to tell you. Let go of things, because they will eventually come back. And don't do anything. Essentially, you're allowed to be lazy right now. But I don't think it's laziness. I think it's you meditating. Some people view meditating as lazy, believe it or not. I know people like that. It's like, all you do is sit around and be in your head. It's like, yes, do you understand how much rewiring the way you think can actually improve the person you are? Some of the most successful people out there are very, very meditative. They're very intuitive, or they just have a very strong trust in the divine. You wouldn't believe. Like, go out there and look at the people in the top 1%. They all do some sort of meditating. Go out there and look at your favorite athletes. They do some sort of meditation or something to get their mind in the right space. So why wouldn't you do exactly what those very successful people do? It's the people who don't take time for this that are stuck in a wheel, that are stuck in a certain situation that makes them unhappy. So really focus on you. Depending on how you want to do it, you can do it spiritually, meditatively, religiously, though I feel like it all depends on you and how you want to do this. Take the time for you. Don't work too much. Take the advice you get from certain people that it's like, take advice from people that you want to take advice from. You're not going to get it from the person who's been in like a crappy 9-to-5 job for 30 years. Are they the best person to get advice from? Maybe if you want to keep doing what they're doing. Maybe if you also want to stay with the company for 30 something years, you know? But you're going to take advice from your favorite people, from the people you want to become, from the people you want to be like. Another way I'm being told to take this is, especially with the Knight of Wands here, I'm kind of surprised the Three of Cups didn't show up, but I am seeing it in my mind's eye. Certain friends who aren't doing the things you want to do, don't worry about them. I'm not saying to cut them off, but don't worry about them. If those friends are not the kind of friends you want to end up like, don't worry about them. Because I see this with a lot of people. They'll have friends that they don't agree with. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's great to be surrounded by people who are different from you because you learn from them. It's more like you are going to start understanding that the friends you don't really agree with their lifestyle may just be the friends you don't really need to see every day or take whatever they have to say to heart. It's like you don't really need to be listening to what they're telling you to do because they're living their life the way they want to, and that's cool for them, but you don't want that. You know you're different. You know you are different, so you're going to be doing very differently here, pile 3. I also just noticed I blew out my candle. And for those of you who have been here enough, you know that I like to channel with fire. But for some reason, I'm channeling so strongly and so vibrantly, but I don't have my candle on. Look at you. It's like you're learning to do things without a crutch. This would be like learning to channel without tarot cards. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with channeling with tarot cards. I personally love them because I love the visuals. But a lot of you, this would be like, you're just upgrading, you're leveling up. Whatever you're doing, pile 3, this retrograde is going to be amazing for you. If you allow it to not, you know, you're not going to let the fact that it is a quote, quote, retrograde to bring you down. Let's go ahead and get your wild cards though. We have the 7 of Wands, accountability. Yeah, this is you taking accountability for things that happen. It's like, yeah, we might be in this particular astrological situation right now, but I'm going to do me because I know I'm stronger than this. In fact, I'm going to work with this to make me better. We have the Hermit. There it is. You taking the time to yourself to do what you need to do to better yourself. We have the Two of Swords. This is cutting off communication when you don't need it. Oh, sorry. This is the 7 of Swords. You being able to see through people's BS. I feel like your BS meter gets really, really sensitive during the retrogrades. And this could be both a good and a bad thing. Because I feel like maybe in the past, you let it get to you. It's like, oh, I detect a lie. It's going to spiral me out of control and make me very, quote, quote, emotional or accusatory, whatever the situation was. But now it's like, because you know that your BS meter is going to be up during the retrogrades, you're going to be like, all right, bring it on. bring it on. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what somebody's going to try and do so that I can work this situation to my advantage or to somebody else's advantage. Yeah, people are going to slip up and tell the truth here. Or people could be feeding you BS, but again, you're going to catch it. In fact, I feel like it's going to be very telling on them when you are feeding them the BS. And the Hanged Muse. A shift in perspective. I think you understand that it's necessary to have a shift in perspective during this time of the year. I think you understand that it's okay for your mind to operate a little bit differently because when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, essentially. Yeah, it's like, whatever, I gotta step up with the season because this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm not saying you're gonna be like this 100% of the time, all the time. Like, I just feel like during my Mercury retrograde, you are cashing in your energetic karma. And I've never heard it be say that way. You're cashing in all that energy that you've been storing up, that you've been saving for another day. You're like, let me bring it all in and let me take control of the situation. I don't know what's going on in this very specific retrograde that you are experiencing, pile 3, but it's like you are leveling up at a crazy degree and you're not letting anything phase you. Back of the deck, Two of Swords. There's where she is. Some of you are not communicating with people right now, and that's fine. Two of Swords is like the classic Mercury retrograde card because it's either a miscommunication or a lack of communication or a no contact situation. Not necessarily romantic, though it can be. It's more like with anything and anyone, it's no contact. But this is because you are meant to level up. You're meant to see through things that nobody else sees. You are very much operating on your own wavelength, on your own plane of operation. This is fine because you are very different and you understand this. After all, you're on here on YouTube looking at tarot videos because you understand and trust in some of the advice that comes through in these. So love this energy. Love this. I know that you are going to do great things. I know that in any situation, you are going to be in control because we have a major arcana in every section. The Magician, the Hierophant, and the Hanged Man. The Hierophant is letting me know that you will learn some good lessons here, even though it is in the no section. You will learn some amazing karmic lessons, but it's not going to come with the karmic, if that makes any sense. You're going to learn amazing things and not have to deal with the karma to learn that, essentially. What's underneath the Two of Swords? We have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, this is bringing clarity, strength. You're overcoming obstacles, the devil, specifically negative traits. Yeah, you're overcoming so much. You're taking off the mask that you have put on yourself to deceive yourself from certain situations. Pile 3. Pile 3. It is such a privilege to read for you. We're not even done yet. Let's go on to your closing advice. But I absolutely love this advice. I absolutely love the fact that you are not being a victim here. Quite the opposite. You are taking control of every situation that comes your way. You are taking control of everything here. You are learning to work with the universe to bring about the best outcome for you and everybody involved. Let's go ahead and get your Divine Feminine Oracle cards for my pile 3. We have Sekhmet the Red Lady. I am pure strength. I honor my anger by giving voice to it. I was getting a very strong angry kind of vibe from this. I just didn't want to bring it out because it didn't feel angry. It's kind of like you channel your anger to make you stronger. I love this actually. I feel like anger, some people say that anger is a bad thing, that it shouldn't be a thing, blah, 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 etc. I have Mars on my ascendant. I cannot view anger that way. This is very much turning your anger into power that will help you succeed something. Even if it's a very low simmering anger, even if it's something that is very hidden or very what's the word, subconscious here, you're going to allow it to empower you. You're going to allow it to move you forward. It's kind of like if anger gives you a little bit of extra strength, you're going to take advantage of that strength and get certain things done that you typically wouldn't do. It's like, okay, I'm angry. Let me clean the house with all this extra energy that I have. Because especially if you're very intuitive or very psychic, and this happened to me the other day, I was having a conversation with somebody and I was so angry, but I was trying to tame it. I was trying to calm it down, but it kept making glitches. Like the person I was on the phone with, they were like, what's that noise? Are you making that noise? Because I guess it was something they didn't have anywhere near them. I was like, no, I'm not doing anything. And yeah, you are channeling that energy of anger into something positive here to motivate you. Like I said, it's like if you get rejected by somebody, you hit the gym and you come back absolutely looking amazing with like the best body of your life. There's a little bit of revenge here, but it's not in an unhealthy way. We have Sappho the poetess. I love every inch of my body and I love the women in my life fiercely. Some of you could really be, like I said, working on your body, which is why you love it so much, or giving your body what it needs, the nourishment, the time, the care, whatever it is that it needs. And then with the women in your life, I feel like you're really surrounding yourself, if not with women, then feminine energy, or people who are going to cater to your feminine energy so that you can better, because like I said, there's a lot of masculine energy here. You kind of need to make sure you are paying attention to the feminine side, the side of you that needs to be taken care of, essentially. Back of the deck, Princess of Mercy. This came out in pile 2. Like I said, a lot of you are coming from pile 2. Not sure what happened since then, pile 3, but yeah, very strong energy here. Poetess is also making me think of channel this into something creative and it will be something really amazing. Channel this into something you want to create for the world and it will be something amazing, pile 3. Let's get some affirmators cards for you. For my amazing pile 3. Ownership. I take ownership for how I make others feel, and I do my part to repair any bridges I might have burned, or perhaps even slightly singed. If bridge mending feels impossible, then I can start small. Instead of becoming a bridge architect, maybe I'll just skip the bridge and walk the long way around. Taking ownership is great for burning calories. I feel like a lot of what I said is coming through here. You're taking accountability and ownership of the things that you have done in your past, or maybe of how you react, or even how things went along here. Some of you might be mending broken bridges, honestly. Some of you could be taking back a friend, a situation, whatever it is, but you're doing it in a very healthy way because you are a changed person. And I feel like the only way you will take them back is if they are a changed person as well. There's a lot of forgiveness here with the Mercy card. But again, the tiger is here. Tigers and lions, any kind of wild cat right now is a very strong and positive symbol for you, pile 3. I absolutely love this energy. Thank you so much for letting me read for it. I feel like I really needed to hear a lot of the messages in this pile as well. Again, thank you for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I am sending you the best. I am sending you all the love. Take care, pile 3.